think a question, what does freedom look like, is a lot trickier than people realize. Spent a lot of time coaching, younger generation in the business and the startup community, and we have these discussions where I'd ask somebody, like, what are you striving towards? Oh, I want to be free. Okay, well, what does that mean? You want to be free? And you'd get things like, well, I want to be able to buy anything I want. I want to be like Elon Musk. I want to be like Mark Zuckerberg. And I'm sitting there thinking, you've just named the most unfree people there are, right? I mean, doing what Elon Musk does, his lifestyle is anything but free. And he is a public figure. He is extremely wealthy, and everything he does is analyzed, looked at, judged, sort of even the flights he takes. I think there's like a business that somebody has made just simply out of taking out of tracking his flights. And so that's not freedom, definitely not freedom, I think, to me, right? So then you'd get something like, oh, I just want to have like a large business, right? And I want to make it like I want to go to San Francisco, to Palo Alto, to Silicon Valley, and get funding. Okay, that's not freedom either, because with that funding comes responsibility of doing what you're told by the people that gave you the funding. That's it, right? So then what is freedom, right? It's not, and I want to say that, like, freedom it comes from kind of like from within, in the sense that a free person has a very clear understanding of what it is that makes him happy and what it is that doesn't make him happy. And a free person does not have illusions or desires that are not in line, right? I mean, freedom essentially looks like live the life you want to live, don't do anything you don't. It's a very broad statement, and in a lot of ways it's probably impossible to achieve, but in striving towards that, that's what freedom looks like to me, right? Because like, you have to sort of understand, like, how a phone rings, right? And the phone rings, and what is your gut reaction? Like, if you're going to tense up, you're not in a free situation, because you're worried that some of this call that's going to come right now is not a good one, right? So what makes you tense? Can you change your behavior? Can you modify the activities? Can you eliminate whatever it is that's making you tense up when it rings? You do that, you're a little bit freer than you were. Freedom is, to me, waking up on Monday and just not being able to contain yourself to get to work, or to get to a business, to get to whatever it is that you were getting to. And so I guess the point is not really a Monday or what it is that you do, but the point is that your routine must give you happiness, right? Or not give you this feeling when you wake up and you go, shit, I have to go to work today, or I have to do this, or why did, like what is the meaning of my life? If it wasn't for all these bills, I'd probably never want to do that. Okay, so that's right there is not freedom. Freedom, like, again, like another thing people would think, like, oh, freedom is not having to work. Having to work is a privilege. I believe that we are in a kind of use it or lose it type of situation with our body, mentally and physically. If you, I can tell you, there was a moment in my life when I tried stopping working, because I was like, oh, I can stop working because here I am, I'm not even 40 years old, and I have enough of financial freedom to never have to work again. I've lasted, I want to say 2 months. Yeah, very miserable 2 months, because as it turns out, you have to work, not because it's how you earn for a living, but you have to work. It's like, like if you do, it's like going to the gym, right? You don't You don't go to the gym because somebody's going to pay you money for carrying heavy things or just lifting them so many times. You do this because you see benefit. And so work is like that. Work keeps you healthy, young, agile, and toned, if you will, no matter what that work is. And I think your only job in life is to find what you don't hate, what you love, and do things that inspire you, that make you want to look forward to the future, because you are on this precipice of making something happen, right? So that's the excitement, that's the freedom. And being able to live a life like that, not having to flinch when your phone rings, or not having to deal with what you don't want to deal, essentially that's freedom. And if you think that for this you have to be the next Elon Musk, actually you're very confused, because people aren't free in that sense, because they have to maintain a public persona a certain way, and so that's really far from being able to do whatever the hell you want. You know, there's the saying that if power is what you want, you have to give up on everything else, and that's the situation with guys like, you know, Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg, the ones that aspire not just to wealth but also power over, you know, a great amount of people in their life. That's politics, essentially, right? And so that's anything but freedom, because with power comes responsibility, and, you know, there's all that. And so if you take away anything from this lesson, really is, you know, freedom is not having to flinch when your phone rings, and because this could be really, really bad and you're expecting it, or not bad, but something that you don't want to deal with, right? That's kind of the point there. And also there is, you know, the waking up on Monday. That's my Monday test, right? So do you love your life on Monday, or do you just hate the kind of routine you're in? Because it's all routine. A lot of it is routine. And I gotta tell you, I love my routine. I love it. I don't understand, like, a lot of times I have to look at my phone or something that has a calendar to know what day of the week I'm in. I'm free of that, in the sense that every day of the week looks exactly the same to me. I kind of don't like Saturdays and Sundays a lot, because there is a drastic change in everybody else's behavior on those 2 days. You know, it's not so sudden in my world. It's pretty much a mix. You know, everything is kind of a play, but a lot of it is work, that I also consider play, and I just can't believe that people give me money for it. That's kind of the situation that you're in, right? And so that's freedom. Will it make me the next Elon Musk? Again, no, probably not. Not Elon Musk, not you know, Mark Zuckerberg or whatever. It's just that, because you have to understand that you don't essentially one day start a business from nothing, like literally from nothing, and bootstrap it to, you know, where you are running $1 trillion company. That doesn't happen, right? There is no accident in that. What you're seeing there is just a bigger capital at play, with a person who had a pretty good trampoline in life, right? So he started out not having to make a ton of mistakes that a normal mortal would make, like us, you know, if you're coming in from a more modest environment, right? So a lot of your time is going to be dedicated to learning, overcoming, you know, making a mistake, learning, overcoming, and a lot of your time is going to be used to build up this runway, or this path, or this trampoline that I call, right? So something that you know, that gives you this trajectory, and people that have, you know, like Elon Musk. I continue to use Elon Musk. Why not? Let's continue, just stay consistent. And you know, he had a pretty good runway, right? He didn't have to do a lot of the things on the bottom, in the sense to, he didn't have, like, a lot of the lessons that his parents learned were passed on to him and were given to him as knowledge. And he, again, you know, has very high capabilities himself, and combination of both gives this kind of individual, or, you know, Jeff Bezos is another one, right? So it was not by accident that Jeff Bezos has started or was made Amazon what Amazon is today. That was by design. McDonald's was by design, right? That's why there was this person who wasn't really the restaurant owner, but who knew how to make it. And so it's good to think that one day you will stumble into trillions with your startup, but truth is, if you're not designing for it, you probably won't. And so your freedom needs to look somewhere where, at the end of the day, it makes you happy, not necessarily trillions of dollars, billions of dollars, but are you happy with your life? Do you want to continue this without, do you pray that nothing changes, right? It's a terrible thing to pray for, because everything always changes, but you know what I mean, right? Like when you're in a good situation, that right there is your freedom. That's it. And everything else is just, nature, because very little of our life is controlled and influenced by us, right? We live in large communities of people. We live on this one giant earth, and everything that everybody does sort of affects everybody around. And so a lot of what you do in life is handling things that happen to you, right, from life. But it's extremely important also to happen to life as well, in that sense that you have to drive what happens in your life, as much as you have to react to what happens to you. And the cards you get are the cards you get, but what you do with it is totally in your control. And I think happiness comes essentially with or freedom, not happiness. I don't know what happiness is. Freedom comes from being able to do the things that you want to do, and more importantly, being able to say no to the things that you don't want to do. And that right there is freedom, at least to me. What do you think?